Okay, now we have the review of appeals. We have 053-18. We were also going to send this case back. Would you like to elaborate on this appeal?
No, so what this is we received a request for reconsideration, a request for an appeal. So the burden was on the complainant to satisfy one of the 4 criteria provided for an appeal. I reviewed, it feels like it was several hundred pages of what the complainant sent in. I pulled every single SOP he named and read every SOP. I watched the videos. I am making a recommendation to this board that we grant the appeal. Specifically, I believe it was SOP 219 that warranted further review. That was not addressed in our investigation. So my recommendation to this board is that we grant the complainant in 053-18 a reconsideration.
Okay, that's a motion.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Just a question.
Oh, we have a question?
And this investigation is going to be limited to whether or not 219 was violated?
I can't speak to the entire appeal process. I don't recall what happens exactly after we grant an appeal. I believe some sort of hearing occurs, but that's the basis on which I am recommending we grant an appeal.
Because I reviewed all of that material as well, and I'm comfortable with it if we're talking about 219.
Yeah,
I don't know that I'm necessarily comfortable with every SOP that was identified.
Oh yeah, no, I think I have singled out the one SOP that lacked investigation. I didn't disagree with the findings of the CPOA as they exist in this case. However, the findings of the CPOA as they exist in this case do not investigate that particular SOP. And so that is how he satisfied the criteria, in my view, the complainant.
Okay.
So we have a motion.
Chair Waits, may I? Chair Waits and Member Vandeventer, was 219 a part of the original complaint?
What does that mean, Director Harness?
The investigation that you are wanting to grant an appeal for is based upon your review of voluminous materials in which 219 is to have been alleged. But the question is, was a violation of 219 something that was a part of the original complaint? And how does it particularly apply in this case?
My response is that question is not pertinent because that SOP is raised by the facts in this case, and our CASA mandates clearly require us to investigate any SOP violation raised by the investigation. And so it is not up to, the burden is not on the complainant to raise SOPs when a complainant sends us a citizen complaint. A citizen complaint merely complains of a situation that they felt like misconduct occurred, and then it is up to us to review the facts, determine what SOPs are applicable, and then analyze those. Okay. And so 219, no, he did not raise 219, but that also is not required of him.
Chair Waits and Member Vandeventer, how is it applicable in this case?
219 deals with, I have my notes here, give me 1 second. They've gotten a bit disorganized over the course of the evening, but I do have them. I believe I brought the SOP with me. Okay, I don't appear to have the SOP, but I can I can work from memory. 219 is an SOP that applies when a person is having a mental health crisis. And so I believe that SOP was triggered because everyone on scene, including the officers and all the civilian witnesses, were in recognition of the fact that the subject of the call was incoherent and potentially incompetent. And so essentially what was triggered by 219 is an investigation, one that requires thoroughness in its efforts to de-escalate. And so it required what I think didn't exist, what didn't happen here, that is possibly an SOP violation, is that the Amber Care hospice staff was not interviewed. The woman who was responsible for the call out was living in another state but was present by phone for the entirety of the call out. No one spoke with her. There was an Amber Care directive which was not viewed, which was very relevant to the factual scenario. And the complainant also was not thoroughly interviewed by the primary officer who called the shots. The secondary officer did speak with Mr. Parsons at length, but he was not interviewed in the way I think arguably he should have pursuant to this SOP. So that is how I think it is applicable.
Chair Waits, Member Vandeventer. So, so even though the care worker was on the phone, addressed the people there from the care service, said that she did not need to speak with anyone else there, and because I don't believe that.
Director Harness, I'm going to cut you off. It is the board's purview to grant or not grant an appeal. I don't appreciate being cross-examined. I have stated my reasons for recommending that the board grant an appeal. It is up to the board to do that. I'm not needing to be cross-examined. I reviewed everything that I thought was relevant, and that's my recommendation.
Okay, let's move forward. Let's cut this discussion, and I think I agree. We do have a motion.
And a second.
And a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so we're moving this
Do you oppose?
forward.
Back to the staff.
Back to the staff, okay.
It's not back to a staff,
No,
it's
it's
just
219.
granting an appeal.
219.
219
To appeal. Okay,
Yeah. That's right.
okay. We will be conducting an appeal hearing next month, okay.